I wish for frozen time, forgotten sins, and never-ending love. E.K. Blair.
Hi, bestie.
Hi, bestie.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Now that you're here.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I ended up doing a lot of things at the office today.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Getting things done is good. I got another episode edited.
See? Progress. Proud of us.
We both got things done today.
Yeah, we did.
I also did a couple of chores.
Proud of you.
Like cat litter.
Crowley quickly messed that up.
Oh, yeah. That's how they do. They're, clean cat litter. I gotta fix that.
Let me fix that. That cannot stand.
But did you watch an episode of Eureka this week?
I did watch an episode. Did you?
I did.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We watched Season 2, Episode 7, Family Reunion. It aired August 21st, 2007. It was directed by Michael Lang, and the writers were Ann Col... Do you want to say the writers' names? He won't even look at me now. Oh, yeah? I know. The writers were Ann Colfell Saunders and another writer that I'm super excited about, Jane Eppenson.
Ooh.
She was a writer for Buffy and Angel.
Really?
And I do believe some Warehouse and like several other shows that I absolutely love. And every time she writes an episode, I know I'm going to love it.
That's awesome.
Because she also loves her nerdy boys.
I can see that.
I am not surprised at all that her first episode of Eureka focuses on Fargo. Because she wrote a lot of the Jonathan episodes on Buffy. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And like maybe not whenever, but like sometimes on Angel when like say Andrew shows up or something, it's usually her doing.
Fine, I'll rewatch Buffy.
You don't have to.
Oh no, it's just about that time.
Yeah. I mean, I do about once every couple of years.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and rewatch it because I can.
Yeah, it's about an every like 24, like 2 years.
Yeah, every couple of years. Yeah.
It's about that time.
Yeah. Because we're talking about Jane Evans's episode today. And I'm very excited.
Yay.
So when we start this excellent episode, we open up at the Global Dynamics Cryogenics Lab. And Larry makes some bad jokes. He says, when are you going to be done? People are trying to sleep in here.
Wah, wah.
Larry. Although I was surprised that Larry was not eating anything.
It's true. He's always eating.
Yes.
Sometimes soup.
Sometimes soup.
Like, why are you just eating soup and around? Just taking the soup with him.
He just needs to eat.
But I will say that was about the time that like, Campbell's came out with like the portable soups.
Yeah.
That were really popular for some reason.
Oh, yeah. Vince, I think there's some in our cabinet. Vince likes them. But anyway, Larry's not eating soup. He's not eating anything in this scene. But some of the chambers, he does say, date back to the 1950s.
They don't make them like this anymore.
Yep. And one is waking up.
Bum, bum, bum.
You see the temperature gauge going up and it's coming to life. And then we head over to the sheriff's office and Zoe wants coffee and Jack is sending flowers.
Jack is sending flowers. Zoe wants coffee. And Joe wants her magazines.
Truth, because she needs to know what sassy pumps are in for fall.
All of the articles in this. Try our no diet. and trick your body slim, figure fixing fashions for all occasions, 10 wow amazing makeovers, simple secrets of the stars, dress for $20 or less, and of course, the sassy pumps for fall. It's very 2007.
But yes, Jo just wants her magazines, but it's getting her in trouble because she's supplying Zoe with the coffee because Vince doesn't serve Zoe.
He knows better.
Yes.
So Jo becomes the middleman.
Zoe wants to figure out who the flowers are for, but she's never heard of the lady. She even does the like redial thing. Mm-hmm. And very well pretends to be Jack's assistant.
Yes.
She's a sneaky girl.
She's very sneaky.
She's good. She's kind of inherited some of Jack's, like, investigative...
Like street smarts.
Well, an investigative skills.
Investigative. Investigative.
So at Global Dynamics...
Yes.
Allie and Jack are talking about why he's mad. Like, he's been short with her, like, on the phone and everything. He's also kind of been short with everyone today. Mm-hmm. Zoe and Jo, but he was really short with Allie on the phone. And then he gets to Global, and he's like, look, you lied. You lied to me. You withheld information that put the town in jeopardy. And she's going, well... I can't apologize anymore. Like, right. I've already done that. And he says, I get that, but I'm just going to have to be mad for a while.
And I can respect that.
So relatable.
Good communication.
I'm pretty sure I have said those exact words to significant others, my sister, like, just, I still love you. I'm just going to have to be mad for a while. I
need to learn that phrase.
I will get over it. But here we are.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. And it's very self-aware of Jack, and I respect that. Allison brings Jack to the cryo lab, and Fargo is super excited about the scientific breakthrough, and they're reviving someone from cryonics, which is huge.
Yeah. He's so excited that it's happening in his lifetime.
Yes. And they get the person out of the chamber. Now, I think an early science corner is called for here.
Okay.
So it's time for...
Science Corner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I obviously did today's Science Corner on cryogenics because, I mean, that's kind of what the whole episode's about.
Yeah.
But I found out in my study, singular, my study.
One study.
That cryogenics, it's kind of a misnomer. Cryogenics is the study of materials and their behavior at extremely low temperatures.
Okay.
But it's not necessarily the, like, human body freezing that we think about. That is called cryonics. And that is low temperature freezing and storage of human remains, hoping to revive them in the future. So cryogenics is involved in cryonics. But pretty much what we're talking about this whole episode is cryonics specifically.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now, I also found out that early attempts, this I found hysterical. Morbidly hysterical. Early attempts at cryonic preservation ended in failure in the 60s and 70s. So in Eureka, this was 1957. So again, it's Eureka, a little ahead of the curve.
Just a little.
It was in the 60s and 70s, and all but one of the companies that were doing the cryonic freezing at that point went out of business.
Oh.
And so the bodies were just thawed and disposed of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
They didn't want to donate it to the one that survived? That one's like, listen, we got enough bodies.
Yeah, probably. Well, the one business that survived was probably like, no, they didn't pay us.
Yeah.
So we're not storing them. We're not paying the cost it costs to store them and everything.
Crazy.
And as of right now, though, whether or not those businesses were still around, even as of right now in 2024, revival technology does not currently exist. So all these bodies are still just on ice.
I wonder how many bodies in the world are currently, like, on ice.
I did not get a number. I did read, like, some quote-unquote famous names that have been frozen, but I think the only one I recognized was Ted Williams, and I don't even know why I recognized that. So
Interesting.
yeah, but there's a reason that not many people do it. It's quite expensive because this is after you die, and whole body preservation costs $200,000 or more.
Wow.
And or if you just want to freeze your head, it's $80,000.
Dang.
But did you also know that pet freezing is available also?
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have frozen Emmy if I had all the money in the world. No, I wouldn't have. I don't know. That creeps me out. I don't like it. It's like taxidermy. I'm like,
yeah. Well, and
let them rest.
There's so many reasons that the technology to revive doesn't exist yet. And I mean, not least of which is like the chemicals they have to use to prevent ice crystals are also toxic. So even if they could revive you, that might have killed you.
Sure.
The oxygen, the lack of oxygen, they say, like, will just kill everything anyway. So I found out a lot about cryonics and that cryogenics is not necessarily cryonics and that it's real expensive and likely you'll never actually be revived anyway because the company will go under and you'll just, end up buried.
It's very disappointing almost.
Yeah. But that's why we love sci-fi, because we can live in the what if.
We can. And we do.
Yes.
So that's Science Corner.
Oh, thank you.
I liked it.
Good. And now that that's out of the way, when the body comes out of the cryonic chamber, it kind of falls, it's in their face first, and then it kind of falls out.
And they're like, why is he in backwards?
And fully
clothed.
And then Jack checks the ID, and it's Pierre Fargo.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's Fargo's granddad.
Yeah. And Fargo's so excited.
Yeah. Because everybody thought that this guy disappeared back in the 50s.
And just, like, left.
Yeah. So then we get to the lab somewhere. I don't think it's the infirmary necessarily. Maybe it is. But Pierre is laying in a bed, and he wakes up, and he's a bit smug. But he still thinks it's 1957.
I don't think it's the infirmary. I think it's the cryogenics lab.
Well, he's in a bed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's still part of the cryogenics lab. Because Fargo, like, points to the... Oh, wait, that's later.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's somewhere.
He's somewhere, yes. And he's a bit smug. He still thinks it's 1957.
He said, you cannot convince me this is the future.
But he has a date with his girl.
He does have a date with his girl.
So he puts on his glasses, because Carter's like, well, put on your glasses. He puts on his glasses, and he looks around the room. And he sees Allison, and he sees Stark. And Stark, did you notice this? Stark winks at him.
I did not notice that.
Stark, like, totally
Hang on.
Winked at him.
Oh my god, I gotta watch this right this second. Oh my god, he does wink! What is that wink? What is that?
Maybe it's from one smug guy to another. Like, hey, bud.
That's so weird.
Like recognizes like.
Oh, so weird. Just
Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah. 50 years.
Are you convinced yet? Any other situation, I would have been like, hell yeah, Stark wink.
Yeah.
Not there.
No.
I don't like it there.
Very weird. Very strange choice.
Well, and Allison's smile is weird. Like, everyone's just being super weird about it. Like,
yes.
no one it's like someone was like, act natural. And everyone's like...
It's like posing people. Just,
be yourselves.
Be yourselves. And they're like, I am a robot.
And What do I do with my hands?
What do I do with my hands? What do you normally do with your hands?
I don't know.
I eat them. I don't know. And then after Stark winks at him, he sees Fargo. And he says, well, you look familiar. Fargo says, well, I'm your grandson. Faint.
Yes.
I mean, I get it. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
Allison and Jack are walking and discussing, like, we're keeping him under observation. Like, Stark's going to keep an eye on him. Babysit him, as Jack puts it.
Yeah. And then Fargo approaches them both and says that if Pierre says that he doesn't know how he got into that chamber, they have to take that seriously. They have to believe him because while Fargos are cursed, they are also honest.
And they're known for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yes. If he doesn't know how he got there.
All of this is truth.
Yes. And Jack says, like, you ended up in the force field? Fair point.
Fair. But also, we're honest.
Yeah.
Because even when he was in the force field, he was ready to send those emails.
He was like, I did it. It was me. I pushed a button. That's what I do.
So then we go to the sheriff's office, and Jo is doing research on the Fargo case, where she finds out that the scientist that Pierre was working with, that was Dr. Sandroff. And he's very well known in town.
He is the Einstein of Eureka.
Right. He won a Nobel, and he's huge. He made so many advancements in different technologies and fields and all this. So he's kind of like a big deal. But then the next scene, Fargo is trying to fill Pierre in on different things that have happened in the last 50 years.
It was so cute.
And Pierre is totally having a hard time processing.
Right. The Red Sox one, I don't know why that's important, but people keep telling me it is. I guess I just don't get baseball. It was so precious.
That would be me, though.
It would be you.
I suppose that's an important thing, but here we are. And we learned that Fargo's dad died in a lab accident because he pushed the wrong button.
Yeah, that's on brand.
Yeah. That's a Fargo thing.
Yep.
Like, Fargos are cursed into pushing the wrong button.
Yep.
And then Fargo shows Pierre a photo of Grandma.
She said she's still so beautiful.
Yeah. Back at the sheriff's office, Jack is still real cagey about the flower lady. Mm-hmm. About the flower getting lady. And
so he's trying to get information out of him.
Yeah, but he's not having none of it.
He's just kind of pissy about it.
Drop it. He is. Yeah, and again, he's short with like everyone. Mm-hmm. This is just, he's having a bad day.
Is this also the scene where he's like, you can't drive until you're dry? And she's like, I haven't had caffeine in like 2 days or something. He's like, or like in like a day. And he's like, I said a week. Like, he's very overprotective about her driving.
Yeah.
Like, especially on, like, caffeine, like, getting excited, having fun, like...
Yeah.
Driving is serious.
Yes. It's very serious business. But Jo also, in this scene, found out more information on Pierre and Fargo's dad. And that's all I have.
We find out that Belle was pregnant when Pierre disappeared. So they start to theorize that maybe he found out that he was going to be a dad and he freaked out.
Yeah. And then just decided that he needed to be frozen for 50 years. Like,
he just panicked.
I mean, I get the idea of, he just ran away. But you know at this point that he didn't just run away somewhere. Right. He's been frozen. And would you really just jump into a cryo freezer with all your clothes on?
Maybe.
If you were
nice
just running away?
Maybe.
What?
It sounds nice and chilly.
No, because you have to go through procedures and stuff.
I guess.
Theoretically. Plus, you're supposed to already be dead when you get frozen.
True.
So.
Which I feel like is the problem.
Then we head back to Global Dynamics, and Fargo is updating Pierre on more new technology and Pierre sees his own techniques in use in like some cellular regeneration lab. But Fargo says, oh no, that was Dr. Sandroff
Yeah.
that made all these advances and discoveries.
This is his lab, like his wing.
Yeah. But Pierre was like, no, he was my lab tech.
Right.
Like, he worked with me. And he figures out in that moment that Sandroff stole his research.
Crazy.
I mean, we've seen it before in Eureka. These scientists.
It's cutthroat.
It is. It's.
We saw a mother steal her own daughter's stuff. Like,
Yeah.
This is cutthroat stuff.
So Pierre figures all this out, and he goes to see Jack to accuse Sandroff. And Sandroff had said that Pierre skipped town and left a letter of resignation. But Jack tells him that Belle was pregnant when he went missing. And Pierre says, I wouldn't have run because of that. I was about to propose. He even still has the ticket.
It's so cute.
I was going to say he kept it for 50 years, except for him, it's been like a night.
Well, it's kind of like Captain America. I almost said Captain Morgan. It's like Captain America. He still has that picture of Peggy that's like brand new, but it's actually like 6 years old.
So Allison and Stark think that the accusation is ridiculous.
Yeah. How dare you? He won a Nobel Prize.
Read all his memoirs and his
get an
autobiographies. What?
Or get an audiobook.
Or get an audiobook. Because Stark's got a Stark. But Allison...
Stark's got a snark.
But Allison wants Jack to tread lightly with Sandroff because, you know, he's an important guy and he's rich and all this. And Jack, this just makes Jack even madder, though, because he's like, what? I'm just supposed to not do my job because this guy has connections? The answer is no. You know? So, and he's really salty about accountability. He even, like, basically states it at this point. And I feel like that is also kind of a through line in this episode. So he's talking about accountability and holding people accountable, which he still is, directing that anger at Allison from last episode. But he takes Joe and they go to talk to Sandroff at his mansion.
Boom, boom, boom.
Did you see this mansion?
It's gorgeous.
It's giant.
Yes.
There's like pillars and everything. So yeah, when they're at the mansion, Jack and Joe are like, oh, so this is what winning a Nobel Prize gets you, eh? You know? I mean, and it does come with a cash prize, but it's not like millions upon millions of dollars. I think it's like 2 or 4 million or something like that.
Casual.
Which is still a chunk of change, but
pocket change.
Although then I guess if you take into account too all his discoveries and technologies that he's developed, he probably made a pretty penny from that too.
Yeah. Being like the Einstein of Eureka.
Yeah.
I'm sure he made plenty of pretty pennies.
So when he comes to talk to them, they tell him about the cryonic revival, and at first he's super excited, but then they tell him it's Pierre, and he gets a little, oh, well, that's nice.
He's crazy. He was gaslighting the hell out of Pierre.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he says things.
Yeah.
He thought he was better than he was.
Yeah. And he claims everything was the other way around from what Pierre says. That, oh, Pierre was my lab tech and he didn't do anything. And then, but, he finishes just waving off the notion of Pierre and then zoops right on out of there. Like, oh, I have a party to plan for. Okay, bye. And Jack and Joe totally pick up on this.
Yeah. They're like, wow, what a change of tone.
Right. They pick up on that he was super excited at first until he heard Pierre's name.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, Pierre and Doug are the Fargos are walking down the street in Eureka in town, And
Pierre
Pierre
once again has to remind him to stop calling him Grandpa.
Right. But it's cute.
It was like the most like endearing and heartbreaking scene when he's like, sorry, I'm not used to having a grandfather or a father or friends. Oh, like, buddy,
I'll be your friend. Pierre also mentions that in the 1950s, the whole town was like dirt roads, maybe 100 scientists, and it was more like a military base than a town.
Yeah.
So, which kind of explains too the presence of like the DoD with Global Dynamics and all that stuff. And Fargo mentions that like the city planners and all that came in the 60s.
Yeah.
So, anyway, back at Global Dynamics, Stark finds chloroform in Pierre's system.
Large amounts.
Yes. Could take down, I don't remember what he said, but could take down something huge. And Jack finds out that Sandroff wasn't a great scientist. He wasn't shit until Pierre disappeared. So this is looking very, very
sketchy.
Suspicious. And Pierre goes to get Belle's ring from the jeweler, his old buddy Charlie.
He's like, I have this, and I would like to get my ring, please.
Yes.
The diamond you've been growing.
Yes. But Charlie doesn't have the diamond anymore. Or he says he doesn't.
Yeah, he says, I sold it after you were gone.
Yeah, I just assumed you had left.
We all thought you were just gone.
Yeah. And so now more than ever, Pierre wants to clear his name. And Doug says, oh, I want to help. It's my name too. Or no. Pierre says it's your name too.
Yeah, he's like, we are going? And he's like, yeah, it's your name too.
Zoe is at home, and she is going to blackmail Sarah with Jerry Springer.
Which is Sarah's obsession, apparently.
But she's blackmailing Sarah into looking up the flower lady's name and trying to find out who she is. Who is this person? So they do find one where there is a police record associated with the name, and Jack's name is attached.
And it's like a juvenile record.
So then, back to the Fargos. They go to break into the files at Global Dynamics to find the supposed resignation letter that Pierre had left. And they find it, and then they get caught. But Pierre is very confused because this is his signature, but he didn't write this letter.
Right.
So he's very, very confused on this.
He's had a whirlwind of a day.
He really has.
Week. However long it's been.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
And Belle all this time is somewhere in Alaska dog sledding.
Yeah. So Alaska's a very popular tourist spot, apparently.
Well, it kind of is.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But, I mean, good for her, though.
Yeah.
Her love leaves. She has a son. She raises that son. She has grandkids. She goes
loses
off.
that son.
Yes. But then she goes off and she's living her life. She don't need no man.
Right.
She's just doing her thing.
And Fargo said she never found another love. She was waiting for her one true man. So sweet. So sweet.
So Stark and Henry are now looking at Pierre's cells the samples that they took. And Henry is happy to see Stark getting back to real science. Which is really sweet because, he gets into it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cute.
Like, honestly, there's been a lot of development with Stark in the last few episodes where he's like, the freedom of not running Global Dynamic and him just doing science again, it's cute.
Scientist Stark, to me, is way more attractive than head of Global Dynamics Stark.
Yeah. I would agree.
He's still smug and he's still kind of a bad boy, but it's cuter now. I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Is that Spider-Man?
No.
Oh.
I think that's like War and Peace or something. It's like...
Same thing.
Hang on. I'm going to look up what it is because it's like a very serious thing. It's Lord Acton. in a letter to Bishop Crichton in 1887.
That's the 1887 version of Spider-Man?
Sure. Great men are almost always bad men.
Ooh.
That's the rest of the saying. It's power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost always bad men. Why is that like...
Why does that hit so hard?
That hits so hard. Ooh. In many ways.
Yeah. We just got way more deep than we needed to.
Yeah, we did.
Back to our silly science show. Stark, in this moment, also asks Henry how he knows that it absolutely was not Stark's fault, Kim's accident. And Henry tells him that someone tampered with her computer, but he doesn't know who. Because again, I think he's well, yes and no, but he's still waiting for more evidence. He's still trying to put all the pieces together. So he doesn't want to accuse without hard evidence.
Well, I mean, the hard evidence is that Beverly did it, but he knows that Beverly's not the top of the chain.
Right.
Like, he knows that she's not the mastermind.
Right. So he's just kind of...
He's keeping his cards close to his chest.
Yes. So then Jack arrests Pierre for breaking and entering and all of the things. Mm-hmm. And lets him go to the bathroom before he puts him in the cell. And then he takes a cryptic phone call. We don't know who.
Yeah, very terse and to the point and cryptic.
Yeah. And then Zoe finds out that the flower getting lady died. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really know a whole lot other than that. And that she was Jack's high school sweetheart. Yeah.
And that she died young.
And then we get back to the sheriff's office, and Pierre is depressed in the bathroom.
Poor Pierre.
And we find out in a moment, though, he is not depressed. He is aging rapidly. Mm-hmm. This is concerning.
It is concerning.
Yes. So they head back to Global Dynamics. Stark and Henry are doing the science together and trying to help Pierre. And Charlie, the jeweler, comes to see his old friend Pierre. And
he wants to see him with some wrinkles.
They're joking around with each other.
Being all cute.
Yeah, it's sweet. And then Pierre asks Charlie, if I don't get to see Belle again, let her know that I never left her and that I still love her. And Charlie, the look on his face is like, I'm not going to tell her any of that crap, bud.
Yeah.
Which this is kind of the moment that I start suspecting Charlie.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you're not being a very good friend here, bud.
Right.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Carter is now all on board Team Pierre. Mm-hmm. And he's going to prove that Pierre is telling the truth.
There we go. There it is.
Castiel, would you like your corner? So yes. Back to what we were saying. Carter is all Team Pierre now, and he's trying to prove that Pierre is telling the truth. So he brings Stark in, along with all of the books by Sandroff, and he's like, question him. Ask him any question you want, because all of this stuff happened after he disappeared. So my bet is that Pierre is going to know all the answers to whatever you ask him. You're the expert on this. You go right ahead.
Yeah.
So Stark does.
Rapid fire.
So he does. Rapid fire questions him, and Pierre knocks it out of the park. Mm-hmm. He answers every question he has very intelligently and quickly. Mm-hmm. So it is becoming very obvious that Sandroff did steal his work. And Jack says, anyone want to go to a party? I loved the way Pierre just raises his hand and goes, me.
I do.
I do. Me. I thought it was adorable. That's
very
the moment.
Fargo.
That's the moment when I started to really like Pierre. Like, yeah. I thought it was cute how he liked Belle and how he's still in love with Belle and everything. But he was kind of smug at first. Mm-hmm. But this is the moment where I'm like, all right, I get you now.
He's a Fargo.
Yeah. So they go to the party and Pierre confronts Sandroff. And Jack accuses Sandroff of attempted murder. And Sandroff is like, no, I didn't push him in. I came to find him, I picked up his research right where he left off, but I found the resignation letter and he was just gone.
Right.
So that part, Sandroff seems to be telling the truth. And Stark enlists Sandroff then to help save Pierre because he's aging too rapidly. The cellular degeneration is too quick. So, all right, Sandroff, you expanded on all this work. You got to come help us save him.
Yep.
And he does. And they come up with a solution, and it's a shot, which easy peasy, right? So Pierre moons everyone waiting for the shot because 1957, if you were getting a shot of some kind, it was in the buttocks.
Right in the butt.
But it goes right into his neck. And then Jack has a very quick thinking, very, I don't know, kind of out of nowhere thought when Pierre pulls out his claim slip for the diamond. He says, wait, let me see that. And he notices that the signature is exactly the same, that it was traced from that slip. So Charlie was the one that pushed Pierre in.
Bum, bum, bum. Et tu, Brute.
Right? I mean, these guys are supposed to be friends, but apparently Charlie loved Belle also.
And Pierre doesn't blame him.
Yeah. So Charlie confesses, and then Pierre just wants to be the bigger man. And he gets the ring from Charlie, and he's like, you don't have to arrest Charlie. I understand. It's water under the bridge. And Jack keeps saying, not your choice, bud.
Yeah, you don't get to decide this. That's not how the law works.
This is just, illegal. So I'm going to take him in.
Accountability.
It's nice that you don't hold grudges.
However, the law does.
However, this is my job.
Right.
And people need to be held accountable, is basically what he said without saying.
Yep.
So then Zoe comes to the sheriff's office to apologize about nagging about the flower getting lady. Her name is Angela.
It's like the third time you said the flower getting lady.
I know. It's because I didn't write down her name at first. But her name is Angela. And we find out the story. Jack tells Zoe that he was trying to teach her how to drive. They got in a car accident and she died. And even though she was driving, he still feels responsible because he was the one.
He was teaching her, and they were having fun.
Yes.
And having a great time together.
Yes.
And he feels like it should have been more serious and more cautious.
Yes.
So it makes a lot of sense why he's very wary
of his teenage
daughter being hyped up on caffeine and having a great time and just wanting to drive for the fun of it because he lost someone he loved.
And he feels so responsible for it also. And while he did take accountability for it, he still feels like he hasn't, which is why he sends her flowers every year. And her dad calls him to thank him
every year. And
like he's got tears in his eyes.
He's like emotional, like full on vulnerability.
He's really, really opening up to Zoe in this moment. And he even says, like, I haven't talked about this in a really long time. And it's also really sweet, though, that he could open up like that to Zoe. Because he is kind of guarded with his emotions sometimes. All the time. And he'd much rather make a joke than actually talk real about his emotions. So this is a big step for him. And then we get to our last scene of the episode, which is at Cafe Diem. And Pierre's all nervous because he gets to see Belle.
He's so excited.
He's so nervous and excited. I call it nersited. He's nersited.
It's like a groom before the first look.
And it's the sweetest reunion.
It is.
Like, they hug. They both just think they're both still so beautiful.
It's like Peggy Carter. Yeah, Peggy and Steve. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
She kept going. He got frozen. It's the same storyline. And she kept living her life, but she was always waiting.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet.
It is so sweet. And, I mean, Charlie pushes his friend into this cryo chamber, hoping that then he'd have a chance with Belle. And apparently he never freaking did, because she didn't even give him the time of day, even if Pierre wasn't there.
Right.
Like, come on. And then the last thing we see is Larry and Fargo in the hallway at Global Dynamics, and they changed the name of the cryogenics lab to the Pierre Fargo Cryogenics Lab. Yeah. And Larry's a dick.
Of course.
But Fargo is proud of his name. So, Maddie, I have a game for you.
I love games.
I know you do. Smash or pass?
Let's go.
Smash or pass, Pierre Fargo.
Smash.
Smash?
Yeah.
Me too.
Love that loyalty. Love the kind of silliness that we see by the end of it.
Yes.
And, like, just confident. He is a little, like, precocious in the beginning.
Yeah.
But, like, we understand why.
Right.
Like, he's a genius scientist. But, like, his loyalty to Belle, like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, that sweet love story is kind of, I'm here for it.
And he's cutie.
He is. His young self, he was very much a cutie. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What about Belle?
No. I love her as a human.
Can you imagine her young, though?
Imagining her young, smash.
Okay. Same.
Yeah.
She had to have been pretty cool.
But also in my head, she looks like Peggy Carter.
Oh.
Who is insanely attractive.
That's true. What about... Okay, I know what your answer is going to be, but what about Sandra?
Pass.
Yeah, pass. Just...
Smarmy.
Icky.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't technically really do much wrong. He just picked up where Pierre left off, but...
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about Cryonics? Would you get frozen?
Question. Do I know that it's going to work?
No.
Then pass.
Pass?
Yeah.
You just don't want to be frozen indefinitely?
No, I don't know what people are going to do with my body.
I mean, theoretically, even if they don't revive you, you'd just be frozen instead of underground, and you wouldn't decay.
Well, I mean, if the company goes under, though.
Well, then you just get buried like
You
a
hope.
normal funeral.
You would hope.
That's true.
People be crazy.
People do be crazy.
Right, Neelix? Yeah. Got little chirps.
I think I would pass, but unless it was like for scientific research. Because I'm all about donating my body to science, and they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
But
someone needs
would
to
I pay for it and choose to do it myself? Nah.
Right.
Because I really don't think these people will ever... I honestly don't think it's really physically possible to revive.
Yeah. Turns into a whole Abby Normal situation from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You've never seen Young Frankenstein,
No.
have you? I knew it in your face. You've never seen History of the World Part 1. You've never seen Young Frankenstein.
No.
How dare you? We need to have a whole Mel Brooks day.
I've seen Spaceballs.
It's great. That's like the beginning of the end.
I've seen Men in Tights.
Beginning of the end. You need to see his movies before that. You've seen The Producers. Holy shit. Neelix, your mother is a silly goose. Oh, hi. Yeah, she's a silly goose, huh?
Pretty sure that's all we're going to do today.
I think so.
So now I'm going to roll the credits.
Roll them. Madi and Rin are a pair of best friends and photographers and lover of all things nerd culture. We have no affiliation with the Sci-Fi Channel or the producers of Eureka.
We are having fun here. Everything we say is our own opinion and thoughts. Nothing is official.
If you want to contact us, you can email or find us on Instagram and drop us a line there. Our email address is youshouldwatchpod1@gmail.com, and on Instagram, we are @youshouldwatchpodcast.
Big thanks and praise, always, to John Eric Copeland for the use of his original song written for this podcast. He is the founder of From the Moment Music at fromthemomentmusic.com.
Thanks, Dad. Now, Go follow the show on whatever platform you found us on, and tell your besties to listen. And until next time,
Bye,
bye besties!